second now. I'm gonna get this out of the way here. It's a mouse on a string. You know, it could be used as a weapon.
It could be, I guess.
Imagine it just flies off and hits the TV. Here we go. Little thing in the back. Hey, Quiddy. I think that might be Dave.
Might be.
I heard a loud slam. Look at the little.
I did too.
Little cloth here. Look, I can just disappear. Ah, perfect. That little pug emote with his smiley face. Oh yeah, I can pull up chat. I totally forgot. We got time. Let me pop out. Chevron. Pop out chat. Nailed it. Happy Friday, Lieutenant Floby. What's up? It's Friday here in ReaperLand. We just had a big kind of flash storm. I don't know what to call it. It was hot and humid all day, pretty much. And then right after lunch, right when we were getting ready for this show, all of a sudden there was sideways rain, and apparently there's some hail somewhere. So it looks like
some
a lot
hail
of people,
somewhere.
some hail somewhere. You know, maybe it was in Oklahoma. But it looks like the storm is to the south of us, this direction. That's what it looks like. But it looks like some of the Reaper people are heading home right now. They were told that they could go home if they wanted to, is what it sounds like. We got a call right before the show started, so I don't know. Maybe I got a phone call. Nope. I did not.
We don't matter, John.
Well, I think she called David, and David came and told us. But it was really cool because when I went outside, me and Justin just went and looked. Since the ground was hot, when the rain hit it, it started to kind of steam. So there's like a big puddle out in the front, but there's like a bunch of steam coming off of it. It looked kind of cool. Looked kind of cool. Hey, Tyler the Tired and Clavicus 81, David Dwyer. Kick on Channel 11, the chief weather guy will be having conniptions. Speaking of weather guy, we got a fun little thing that we kind of want to try later. I can kind of show you a little preview-ish of kind of, I'm sure you guys have all seen Whose Line Is It Anyway, but we're going to be trying to, I want to do a little Whose Line Is It Anyway thing maybe towards the, at the end of the show to kind of kick off the end of the show today. Hey, Sir Gambit. I got some stuff to discuss with you today, chat. Mostly the Kickstarter updates that came out, as well as some ReaperCon stuff. That we had a ReaperCon meeting today that had a cool idea that I kind of want to run by you and see what you guys think. I think it'll be a fun idea. Plus, I kind of had some cool things to talk about other than that. I know that a lot of streamers today are doing the reading stories and things like that. I'm really bad, generally, at reading, like on the spot. So I figured I could tell a few stories about a game that I really love and some stories that have always stuck with me. And I figured that'd be a cool way to do that in my own little way for Miss Kathy. I didn't personally know Kathy that much. I only met her once or twice, just because whenever they would come do Fort Wapple and stuff at ReaperCon, I would normally be casting and doing the custom casting and stuff for ReaperCon, so I never really interacted with a lot of artists back in the day. And they haven't done Fort Wapple at ReaperCon since I think 2018, I think. 2018 might have been the last year that they were here. I'm not sure the final year, but I remember James airbrushing Maldrakar. It was many years ago. It was one of the first times we were at the hotel. But that being said, all because I didn't know her like personally, I knew that she was a pretty big deal just because of Fort Wapple and how everybody talked about them, and obviously their streams on Twitch and things like that. Plus, you know, Adepticon and generally Fort Wapple is kind of what I knew them from, and so I know just hearing about everybody's comments about Kathy and things like that. So it just feels, you know, kind of sad just because of how big of the ripple effect. Just same thing with Ed. Like, I worked with Ed for 13 years, and, you know, I knew him as my boss and Ed. But whenever he passed, you know, you start hearing all these stories and everybody from all across the industry talking about him and things like that, other big companies and things like that. So it kind of feels along those same lines. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's cool, Pendrake. Yeah, that organization for the reading and all that stuff, I know it happened earlier this week. I was just told about it about an hour before Reaper Live last night. And so I said that I could do something on ReaperLand today. And so I figured I would just tell a few stories about one of my favorite games and a game that I still play to this day, which, you know, is pretty funny. It's just how things work. So yeah. And so that's what I'm going to be doing, at least for a little while. And then I'm going to talk about the Kickstarter updates that came out this morning and some ideas for ReaperCon, and then finish off with some fun game type stuff. And we'll see where it goes from there. So I might as well start. Is it right here? There's David coming to give us a news update.
Yeah.
What's the news update, David? Is it about the weather?
News about what?
I don't know. You told us to go home.
Yeah, Sydney called back and just double checked and said, yeah,
Okay.
everyone's heading out, but I was just double checking.
Gotcha. All right, chat. Happy Friday, Zox. So many years ago, when I was a little lad, I was with my dad. We went on a trip. I think I was about 14 at this time. Let me fix my microphone. There we go. I was about 14. Oh, that's a good idea, Ashley. Sorry, I was reading chat. So I was about 14. So this was about 2004, and I was on a trip with my dad. And I was at the local Walmart, and I found a book, and it was called The Brady Games Guide to a game called Final Fantasy XI. Obviously, I didn't know what that was. I loved Final Fantasy 7 and 9 growing up. And so I just grabbed the book, the game guide. And I didn't even have the game at that point. And I was just sitting in our hotel reading this game guide. Here, I can actually Google it to show you what it looked like. I have this book, and I have it framed at my house. Games guide. FFXI. Images. Yep. Okay. It looks exactly like this book right here. That's not a good picture. Oh, here it is. So this book right here. So this book, back in 2004, I sat down, and I didn't have the game. I was on vacation. I was a long way away from home. And I got this book, and I started reading through it. And for about a week, we were in Arkansas. And I was just reading from front to back, not knowing anything about what this game was or anything like that. And I fell in love, pretty much. And as soon as I got back home, you know, I asked my dad if we could go buy the game. We bought the game, and this was back in 2004. So all computers had dial-up, so we couldn't be on the phones at the same time, you know, all that shenanigans with dial-up. The game took about 32 hours to download because of how big it was. It was an online game. It's an MMO. It was a whole thing to try to get this game to launch. But when I launched it and started playing, what I loved about it was that it's an old school MMO along the lines of like EverQuest. It was heavily inspired by EverQuest and things like that. And so it didn't hold your hand, and it didn't tell you like what to do or where to go. So anybody that plays games nowadays, a lot of MMOs will there's big yellow question marks above the quest givers' heads, and there's like a journal that tells you like where to go, and it marks on your map, kind of an idea. Well, this game, it didn't tell you anything. It was all done by like word of mouth and people just stumbling into things. And that's just kind of what I liked about it. And it took forever to do anything. You can't do hardly anything in this game by yourself. You always need groups or friends to come and help you, and it takes forever to travel. Like, for instance, if we were in the Federation of Windurst down here, and we wanted to go all the way to Juneau, this little capital city here in the middle, this would take, if you ran, a long time. It would take you like an hour, probably, hour and a half. And, it was just a good game. And so I'm going to fast forward to my story. So I was playing with my brothers, and I was on a class called Samurai. I was playing a Samurai. He uses a great katana and all that stuff. And we were doing this really hard story mission. And each of the classes have what they call a 2-hour. It's like a very special ability. And the Samurai's it just gives you a bunch of tactical points in order to use your weapon skills really quickly. And you can only use this once every 2 hours. So we were all dying. Our white mage, our healer died. Our tank was dead. We had another, like half the party was dead. And so I'm one of the last people up. And I'm like, okay, I got this. I'm going to use my 2-hour ability to do a bunch of damage to the boss. But I was like, I got this, guys. I can do it. It's like my hero moment. I can do this. And I used my 2-hour ability. And then I go to use my powerful ability on the boss, and I realized that I unequipped my weapon, my great katana that does a bunch of damage, for what they call a charm wand. And I have it right here. So it's this item right here, the charm wand. And this is a little tiny rinky-dink little club that it was used for the Valentine event for that year. And it allows you to cast re-raise on an ally. So I was trying to cast it on 2 of our other party members to keep them alive. But I realized that I didn't unequip this for my great katana to do a bunch of damage. And I had this little level 1, you can see this level 1 club charm wand, and we died because I didn't have my great katana. And the really hurtful part, though, is that it took forever, because it was at the top of this tower, and you had to fight your way up all these different floors to get to the top of the tower to fight the boss. And it took us a long time to get to the top of the tower to do this boss, and then we failed. So if you fail, you have to start all over at the beginning and go all the way back up. And so this story has always stuck with us, and we talk about it all the time, every couple of years, like when we're at Thanksgiving or when we get together for Christmas. The Charm Wand story always gets brought up, just because of how memorable it was. And it's just, it's been, what, almost 20 years? It's almost been almost 20 years since that happened. Probably 18 years, closer to 18. And so the Charm Wand story is a good one, and I always tell it, and it's a good story. Let's see. Another story, it's not really like super funny, but there is, in this game, there's what we call notorious monsters that spawn at certain times of the day or certain hours after they are killed. And there's a giant bird, think of it like a rock. There's a giant bird that spawns only during wind weather. And it's somewhere in the ReaperLand region, right here. It's in one of those areas. And anybody that's played old school MMOs or in MMOs in the past, especially games like this, is that the game, it's really hard to predict when there's going to be wind weather, like certain weather that's going on around the world. It's not like every Thursday at 7 p.m. there's wind weather here. And so it's really random. So what we did, like we're all still in high school. This is like 2005, 2006. We're still in high school. And so what we did is we set an alarm on our phone every hour in the middle of the night, starting at midnight. So midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 p.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., before going to school. And so we would wake up every hour checking to see if there was wind weather. So we would wake up at 2 a.m., log online, and then, or we would keep our character logged in. So we'd be sitting there waiting for wind weather. And finally, at like 5:30 in the morning, wind weather happened. And we had to go to school in like 30 minutes. Like we had to get up and go, like start going to school. Because I think for some reason there was an early day that day, I can't remember. But I just remember us waking up right before school, and the monster spawned because it's wind weather. And we're like trying to hurry up and like kill it to get this item. But it's just crazy, you know, to think that an MMO, like a game like this, that takes so much time and dedication, it feels like a second job kind of. But you feel so rewarded when you get those things. And so like when you spend all this time getting the item or helping your friends get the item and things like that, it just feels kind of super rewarding. And it makes those things feel meaningful. I could talk about this game for hours just because I love it. It's one of my favorite games of all time. But those are just a couple of the stories that I like to tell people about it. Yeah, that's it. And it's Final Fantasy 11. I kind of want to do a whole like dissertation. If I had to write like a school paper, like a college paper, I would probably write it on this and like the social like dynamics of Final Fantasy 11 and how it could teach people about economics and like things like that. Especially like it uses like real things like things that are here in the Federation of Winders, the city. Back in the day, you know, whatever was in their banks or their auction house, they had different prices compared to what's over here in Bastock. So what you would have to do is you would take items from over here, you know, transport them all over here, which would take a long time and very difficult to make, it's just basic economics. But it's just funny that a game like this would teach you things like that. Let's see, Cranky Dog. I remember playing Road Race on a VAX machine. Enter a command, hit send. Wait 1 to 10 minutes for a typed response. Ouch, Count Ehrlich. Oof. Who remembers NWN and AOL? What's NWN and AOL? Do you know, Justin? NWN and AOL. I don't know. There's one that Justin played. I played EVE Online during the last beta. Oh, Neverwinter Nights. Got it. Oh, America Online. I knew Neverwinter. I didn't know America Online. Oh, on America Online, Neverwinter Nights. Okay, I see what you're saying. I never played Neverwinter, but I know of it. But Quake 2 in the college dorms was the shiz. Yeah, remember old LAN parties? Man, people don't do LAN parties nowadays, do they? It's kind of sad. 2 decades ago, May of 2003, for EVE Online, Zark says. I just couldn't get into EVE. It's just because I'm not a sci-fi kind of space person. I'm much more like high fantasy. It was a 90s MMORPG long before the most recent NWN. Okay, yeah, the most recent Neverwinter Nights is the one I know. Count Ehrlich, that's pretty funny. Playing Doom on Christmas Eve? Yeah. Tyler the Tired, yes, I do know that as well. Remember setting alarms to do crafting cooldowns on World of Warcraft? Yeah. Yeah. The cool thing about MMOs is that there's so many different types of players. There's like the crafters, there's the raiders, there's the, the people that just want to level all their crafters, things like that. My little brother still sets up LAN parties. I agree. I think LAN parties still could be good to this day. It's just they're not as common, obviously, as normal. back, I don't know, probably 8-10 years ago here at Reaper, in the old Reaper game store, people would bring up their computers. We would do kind of like lock-ins, and people would bring all their computers, and we played like League of Legends and things like that inside the game store. Oh, WoW made me into an altaholic. That's true. Hey, Justin has a For the Horde tattoo, I think, don't you? No, that's Scotty. Our friend Scotty has a Horde tattoo. Broadband internet killed LAN parties. Are you talking about like fast internet killed LAN parties? I think it's just people grew up and they had families and you can't just like leave your families to go for a weekend with the boys and with your friends to set up at a LAN party. Yeah, that's right. People finally got cars so they could go and do stuff as they got older. They didn't have to have their parents drop them off and things like that. You know what I really wish was really popular here in the U.S. was internet cafes. Like over there, like in Korea and Japan, like internet cafes are so big there. I remember when people thought marking up a CD with a green highlighter would make it higher fidelity. Ouch. So we can into paint little green army men. That's true, Zox. That's true. But there you go. One day I kind of want to do a quick little, not a quick, but I do want to, like, on my own time, if I ever make a YouTube video, it would probably be about Final Fantasy 11. That's just kind of what it would be. Talking about our stories and all the friends we made along the way, all the cliche stuff. And so, yeah, just wanted to tell those two little stories. Oh, actually, you know what would be really cool? Jumping right into some ReaperCon stuff. I know that Christine is sculpting. She's sculpting right now, but she was also working on the. Last night we showed off the ReaperCon Sophie. Okay, I was making sure my screen was still working. I was just waiting for this to launch real quick. But I can show you guys the ReaperCon Sophie on here. Oh, dude, Cranky Dog, that'd be cool. Everybody bring your laptops and your PCs to ReaperCon. We'll have a big LAN party. How about that? Let's see here. No, I don't have it on here. But that's fine. We'll do this. We'll draw out. We'll do a cylinder like this. C plugin, import. I'll just show you guys because I had this earlier. I don't think Christine would mind. We'll do this one. There we go. We'll rotate it. And we'll rotate it around. Just messing around here. We'll change the material because I like to use the soft plastic. Nah, we'll use basic material. There we go. Look at ReaperCon Sophie. If anybody missed it last night, here she is without the otter. I don't have the otter, but I do have. No, I'm not a good sculptor count, but I do know a little bit of my way around all of this craziness, like all these buttons and everything. I do know a little bit, but you can see if I kind of do some lighting, a lighting pass right here. There we go. It's a nice little render of it. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Look at the wings. But this is Christine Van Patten's ReaperCon Sophie. This is kind of what we're calling Druid Sophie. Obviously, she's very druidy. She doesn't have her weasel that goes right here. I think Ron said something about her resculpting the base to have the weasel like sit on it, so that the base might be bigger, especially for this one that's going to be 100 millimeters. So obviously, it's 100 millimeters tall. And the wings are pretty chunky, as you can see here. You saw on the print last night, and I'll show the video of it. But the wings are they're pretty heavy, and they're kind of out, so she's kind of tilty on the back end. So I think this is going to be bigger, obviously, to support all the weight and things like that. Medicine Sophie. Let's see, ReaperCon Sophie. Yeah, we need to name the otter. Maybe name her Katmai, after the oldest of the Vancouver otters that we used to raid. Oh, that's funny. I didn't know that. I didn't know that they described the names of the otter from the otter rescue. That's pretty neat. I saw somebody, Count Ehrlich said Soot for Sophie's otter. I think that's a pretty good name, Soot. It implies like kind of fire, and she's kind of druidy. So maybe the bird could have like some kind of druidy elemental name as well. I'm sure the community will come up with a cool little name for the otter. I'm excited to see what people do with the staff, particularly this right here. This could be a cool little point of OSL. You know what I mean? Like, just give it a good, nice little OSL thing like that. Plus, you know, I kind of want to see it like a blooming, like a night bloom, like a purple, dark, kind of night bloomish, kind of crystal flower stone. Like maybe the crystal is blooming. I'm sure people could also probably take flowers, like little flowers, and put flowers on there. Also, I like the sickle. Like I said in the concept art, I really like the sickle that you can see there. I think Christine did a really good job. Nice texture on the bag as well. You can see that slight little texture right there. See all the little polygons. I'm sure this is obviously still a work in progress. I just got the early file of it just to show. I like being able to show it like this on stream. So that way it's really big. You can see the 3D file, and we can like rotate it. We can look at the back. You know, just as kind of like the whip in progress. The wings look really good. I do like the viney wings. That's a nice little touch, especially from the concept art. The bird. She has like these she has this cool little headpiece with the loop, and then like obviously the vine coming around. Spiky shoulders, things like that. Let's see, render it. Give it some good lighting. There you go. Some good lighting from this angle right here. Oh, you didn't notice the bird? Yeah. Oh, a corpse flower, Count Ehrlich said. I'm making a mongoose. Soot is a distant name. I suggested D because it would be like Ed, but backwards. Oh, that's kind of cute, actually. I do like that as well. That's another good option. Corpse flower from Count Ehrlich. Yeah, the bird in her hand. Yeah, it's in the concept art as well. The Max Dunbar concept art. There he is. Christine did a really good job on the bird too. Look at that. I like it. It's very pronounced, the beak and everything like that. It's obviously a small little bird, but that's exactly what it's going to be. So when you get yours, like the normal version obviously is going to be very kind of the smaller version. Still looks good. I think that the normal kind of heroic scale version is still going to look pretty good. Like on your table from pretty far away. We'll just try to kind of, let me see if I can kind of scale it on my laptop. She'll be a little bit smaller. So she'll probably be like this. She'll probably be like this big, probably. This is just guessing from my eye, like on my screen. I try to just use my finger. And so this is probably be the size of it, like when it's printed out normally. But the bigger version, obviously, is going to look, it looks really nice. You guys saw on stream last night. If you didn't, we have a kind of a test print of it. The wings kind of failed on it, but just kind of shows you what it's generally going to look like, especially like the bigger version. I want to do this more often. I want to be able to get the files like this and be able to show you, and possibly maybe we could just mess around with it and not save it or anything like this. I just like being able to show it like this. Oh, she's tiny on your phone? Sorry. She is going to be a blast to paint, especially, you know, it looks like Christine captured all of the the textures and all the different fabrics and all the different materials and stuff that's in Max Dunbar's art, especially like on the front here on her body. We'll pull up the art side by side and see. Let me go to Twitter because I saw it there. Saw it on Twitter. Profile. Here it is. Yeah. So if we pull it up, oh, I can't pull up ZBrush side by side. But let me pull up ZBrush. Doop. Like this. We'll figure it out. Like, you can see, like, the rope, there's this rope, like, kind of leather straps. You can also see it here, along the, this way, down the loop, down that way. The center kind of design that goes down the center, the cross wrapping, like that, you can see that indicated there. All the fur kind of peeking out the top of the boots, the kind of wrapped boots style. It's kind of cool. I like that it looks pretty similar here. It just kind of looks like riveted boots, you know? If you cross your eyes, it's almost 3D. I want to modify the Dwarven Traveling Mage to be the riding mount for a 100 scale otter. That'd be funny. Get a little halfling that's riding this little guy. And he looks good. Obviously, you can see the sickle here and the sickle there. Right here, these two sickles. Obviously, for like printing purposes, it can't be like super pointy like this one. This one's very pointy. This one's obviously kind of had like a bigger, more hook side to it. The bag, the pouch, it looks like Christine tried to get everything in there. The tooth necklace, you can see the tooth necklace right there. And the tooth necklace. The hair going down the front. Perfect. You know, I tried to capture to the T, is, you know, obviously that's what concept art's for, but like these two little leaves popping out, and then you got these two little leaves popping out right there. The fur on the gloves, man, it looks really good. Yeah, the sickle pops. I do agree. You can see it's really pointy there, but I do like the sickle, especially having it looks like the little damaged crack that's in it, and things like that. The tooth necklace, it's all just good choices. Whoops, I'm hitting the wrong button. There we go. Boop. Let me put it back in the middle. Let's change the material. Let's see if we can come up with a better material. Oh, that looks good. I like that render style. Here's it better. It looks good, especially with the angled face as well. You can see the chin, the pointy chin on Sophie here, matching the kind of the angular face on the drawing. Popsicle, that could be a good name for this little guy right here. Popsicle, Blinn. Popsicle, Blinn, Soot, Horde, Josh. Let's just not name him Josh. Give him a human name. Hey, maybe he's a wild form, a wild shape. Yeah, 100 millimeters. It looks really good. I really like the 100 millimeter version of her, to be honest. Speaking of that, we can kind of go back and look at it. I'll close this. Close this. We'll go here. We'll just go back to our video from last night to see it better. Ignore this. Come on. You can do it, computer. I believe in you. Let's go. Let's see. Here she is.
Be some adjustments, but Justin,
There she is.
in the folder, there is was a video of the actual.
We'll pop this down. No. There we go. We'll come back around here. Look at that. Look how good that looks as 100 millimeter. I know that we don't really do that much 100 millimeters and things like that, but this looks so good. I'm so happy about this. Somebody asked earlier about meet and greet. Yes, so everybody that gets your meet and greet badge will get this for free. You'll get the ReaperCon Sophie for free, the 100 millimeter version, when you get your meet and greet badge. And you'll be able to purchase this online through tabletop events. So you'll be able to, anybody that has a badge will be able to purchase this, but you have to pick it up at the show. It's not like something that you'll be ordering and then we'll ship to you. It's more of like you order it so we know how many to make for the convention, and then you'll be able to pick it up at the convention. But the meet and greet ticket will this is included in your meet and greet ticket. But yeah. Send her one, yes. I will most likely, I kind of want to print a bunch of these and send them off to people to paint. I think that's a good little thing. That's a good idea. Pendrick, I will do that. Maybe we can send one to Rhonda as well. Will she be in a box? Of course, yeah, she'll be packaged and kind of squared away. We're not just gonna have them all sitting on a table and then hand them to you. She will be secure. Hi, Lord Dave, Mr. Cecil. Valandar, I do like the bird as well. It does make her look a little bit more druidy. Obviously from certain angles you can't tell that there's a bird there, just because it's gray on gray, just kind of mixed. Sign you up, Bryce? Yeah, Hey, maybe we'll send them to all the teachers. I know, Lord Dave, I haven't seen you in a while. I saw online that you were at like horse races and you've been doing all kinds of stuff. I pay attention. I just know that you're not going to be at ReaperCon this year. I think that is what you told me. I think you weren't going to be able to make it this year, which is super sad. Boo. But I know sometimes people can't make it, all that stuff. Because I know that Ian Markham isn't going to be able to be there. He's doing a big family vacation. Oh, Lord Dave, it's to be determined. Ooh, so it's still possible. Do you think there will be extras? Are you talking about extras of the 100 millimeters? I don't think so. Just because we're using the meet and greet badges and when you buy it online as kind of like how many to make. We don't plan to make 2,000 of them and then whatever is left we'll sell online. This is more kind of like a con thing. She will be online at her smaller scale, like this scale, online forever afterwards. She'll be a smaller version. She'll be made at a Bones USA, just like this guy is, but the 100 millimeters will be a 3D print at ReaperCon. So I would suggest if you're not going to be at ReaperCon, maybe you can convince one of your friends to maybe purchase one for you, pick it up at ReaperCon, and then ship it to you if you really want the 100 millimeter version. That's what I would suggest. But yeah. Oh, Lord Dave, you may be there, but not teaching. That's always fine too. As long as you're there, it gives us a few awesome points, to go up. The con goes up in awesome points when you're there. So that's all it takes. The bird looks like a trogon, which are some of the most beautiful birds in the world. Lots of cool paint options, like yellows, like bright yellows and oranges maybe. You said trogon. Let's see. I got this. I'll make sure that, is this not going to show up anything bad? Okay. Just Google some word that I don't know and it pulls up something bad. Oh, I see. Yeah, they're really pretty. Like this purple one. This kind of reminds me of almost like a bird of paradise-ish, but not as like pastel-y bright. But wow, there's so many different colors of the trogon family of bird. Any bird watchers in chat? I know that ReaperCon, there's a big group of bird watchers that come. A lot of the artists and stuff, one year they go bird watching, or like they went and did stuff. Like behind Reaper, they went bird watching, like on a lunch break or something. There you go. It's a good little paint scheme, this guy right here. Look at that. Oh, dude, if somebody could replicate this pattern as well, the wing pattern, on that little tiny bird guy. I may actually be there. Do you think they would ever remaster the Sophie the Sage? She has the original bones and all the details really soft. I can ask. I can for sure ask Bryce. I don't see why we couldn't. It would just take a little bit of effort to scan it and maybe resculpt it, and then it would be made into Bones USA. Obviously, Bones USA is like 100% better than old classic Bones in the detail department. So I don't see why it wouldn't be that thing. Wasn't that dumpster raccoon watching the did behind Reaper? Huh? You'll sneak out and do a little birding. Yeah, Bones USA is really good. Hey, D. Clearman. Welcome to ReaperLand, where we just kind of do whatever. ReaperLand's just kind of a all hands do whatever. There are two things that I want to show from my folder. This one I saw today during my lunch break. I was just kind of peeking, and I saw this from Dunker over on the Facebook page. He took the shield from the elf swordsman, the elf paladin. This is the shield from that elf paladin. But I like the color scheme. This kind of like priest paladin type fighter, holy warrior, with the gold feathers on the shield. This is a cool little thing with like conversion, taking pieces from multiple things. But I also like the idea about the eyes. You know, maybe he's casting a spell, he's enhanced by something. You know, he's in the middle of combat, eyes glowing. It's very sick. You know, NMM all down the middle. The gold continues from the shield to this. Also, the crown with the jewel and the gold hammer, but the jewel as well. Kind of like this kind of holy circlet. But you know, you see Dunker uses this a lot for his bases, but I saw this and I thought it was pretty cool. Obviously super cool, but just wanted to highlight it. But sick. And then this was a big one. So Keldor, one of our community members, Keldor, you know, he's one of my good buddies. I hung out with him at ReaperCon for the past 2 years. Hoping he gets to make it out to ReaperCon this year. I love playing board games with him and stuff like that. But he took all of the cards, as you can see here, the deck of cards, and it looks like he painted every single one of the models. And I asked him, I said, hey, did you use these cards as like the paint references, and you tried to paint them as the same paint scheme as the cards? And he said that he did for most of them. He tried to kind of replicate them sort of to what they were. And I think that's pretty sick, especially because you can definitely tell, like this guy, what's this, the hippo, like the crewman guy. Let me see, I have it on my, let me pull up another. Let's see if we can spot some, chat. How about that? I think that'll be a fun idea. So I put it, I think, in open, and it's under cards. So the one that I know for sure right off the bat is this guy. So as you can see here, you have this guy. You see the yellow vest, the blue, painted by Glenn, sculpted by Glenn. But when we go back to his picture, you can see he obviously took that paint scheme and painted it just like that. Let's look at Bonk, this guy right here, Bonk. Let's see what he did with Bonk. Bonk. Should be pretty easy to find. We can put these side by side, I think, too. Boop. Yeah, I mean, for the most part. It looks like this one has a red cloth down the middle. Different color spike ball, so maybe he, you know, general paint scheme is what he said he did. He said for some of them he did. Oh, Terrazenia looks really good, Keldor. This one right here. She was the iconic from one of the ReaperCons last year. Let's see who did that one. Oh, I don't know if anybody did that one. You know why? Because it was an art card. Right here. So nobody painted that one. It was an art card. Boom, boom. There you go. This is a really cool collection that Keldor did. And I think it's really awesome. You can see, look, here's, what's her name? Diva? She's the white cleric. Right here. Sister Aileen. Sister Aileen. She's right here with the red shield. Uh-oh. Am I losing internet? No? Okay, test 1, 2. Come on. You can do it. I believe. Load. We can use this one, the wizard. Here she is. Oh, he inverted it. So you can see there with the, she has basically the opposite. He did, this one had a red kind of shawl with the red cape. This one he did a red dress with blue kind of corset thing with dark hair and light hair. Oh yeah, it's fine. I have a green screen right here. Let's see. Let's see if there's any other ones that we spot. Pretty identical. But yeah, this is very fun. Being able to take all the cards and just try to kind of match them, or oh, that's funny. He did the exact same paint scheme on the rogue with the 2 knives. Right here. Serena, the elf rogue. Ah, he did a kind of a light blue instead of a green. But you can kind of see he did the green daggers, the glowing green daggers, right there. There's the bird, the Ukrainian relief model. Kobzar. He's somewhere down here. There he is. Kobzar Solovyko. With the brown coat, with the kind of the blue warble, the dark feet, the yellow sunflower. I love it. Holly Monster as well. Holly Monster is there. Holly and Fern. Ah, it's so cool. There she is. Just Holly on this one, but he painted Fern purple. Purple hair, same color scheme. Ah, it's so cool. Such a badass Keldor. That's kick-ass. And so I really wanted to highlight this in particular, just because I spent a lot of time on these cards, and they were a cool thing that I thought. And that to think that he spent pretty much ever since ReaperCon until about last week painting all of these to kind of go along with the cards, I think is cool. Static display. Are the cards for the RPG? No, the cards were just something I did for ReaperCon. I'm trying to use them again, and I have an idea. I came up with an idea today with Ron. Ron had a really cool idea, and so I might have a cool little idea. I'm going to flesh it out a little bit over the week, and I kind of want to talk more about it next week for ReaperCon and kind of come up with some ideas, but I think I have a really neat idea. What is this, witchcraft? Oh, the bench? Yeah, it's really cool. It's a really deep bench, too. Obviously, you can see it goes all the way back there. Obviously, sometimes whenever, like at my house on my computer desk, you know, things start to get piled up around this kind of insulary corners and edges and things like that. And so your hobby space starts to kind of like encroach. I will, Zachariah. It's just 10 minutes left, and I want to have it. I want to be able to cohesively talk about it more next week. Let's see. Oh, last 10 minutes. So I talked to Justin before the show, and I thought we had a really kind of funny idea. So for anybody, have you guys ever seen Whose Line Is It Anyway? I know most people have. There's a little skit that they do where it's called Newsflash, I think. And so they send out Colin, and he pretends he's sitting in front of a green screen, and he doesn't know what's going on behind him. And they give him clues and kind of talk to him about what's going on. For instance, we can just play a little bit of it.
Well, who gave you the nickel? Everybody.
Is that too loud? Can't tell.
We interrupt this program for a
Is that too loud,
special
chat?
news bulletin. We go out into the field to Colin
And so
Murphy, who is on
he
the
doesn't know what's going on behind him, and they have to give him clues. And chat reacts and things like that.
Words are failing me. Look at this.
And so,
Colin, you're a brave
well, I wanted to do something like that. Maybe for, do I have chat pulled up still? Okay. So, okay, perfect. There we go. And so I figured that chat, you guys can probably give me some clues and hints and things like that. I'm going to turn off my TV so I can't see what you guys see. And Justin is probably going to find a video.
Yeah, I'll just kill the external.
Oh, you just, yeah. Okay, now I can't see.
There we go.
I can't see anything. I don't know what's going on.
You can see chat.
Can I hear? Like if you play the video?
No.
Okay.
Nope. No
So
audio.
Justin is going to play the video, and I can't hear it. And Justin's just going to maybe feed me some hints if he wants to. But chat, this is kind of be on you. You guys kind of give me a little bit of hints and ask me questions about what's going on, and I can try to figure out what's going on. So whenever we're ready to start, Justin, let me know.
Okay.
Are you ready, chat? Are you ready?
Fading us over here.
Okay.
And let's go.
Yes, Dr. Bob. Dr. Bob, what'd you ask me? You said I've been here all morning. Reports have told me that whatever this is, it's been happening since about 6 a.m. this morning. I don't know if any. Oh my! Why don't you run? Is it scary? Someone said fruity. Is somebody eating Fruit Loops? Like I said, it's 6 a.m., so they could have been eating their cereal. Get out your katana. Oh, I remember that story. I don't have my katana. I have my charm wand from earlier. Watch out. Like, should I be scared? Umbrella or spoon? Make my choice. Well, there was just a flash flood. I think there's going to be a flash flood here later today, so I'm probably going to choose my umbrella. Maybe a dance, like, I don't know. Sometimes they say to dance on the grave of your enemies. So I don't know. Somebody said that it was, I don't know if weather is going to affect whatever's happening. John, will your old samurai sword come in handy? Yes. Maybe my old sensei can teach me how to chop fruit. It could be a fruit ninja. It's pretty loud, so I can't hear over the applause from the audience about what's happening behind me. You must be ready to split by now. But a banana split? It sounds like we're cutting things with a samurai sword. Should I be wearing a hard hat or some Kevlar vest? Where's the rock when I need one? Wasn't there a Cheesy B movie with this plot? I remember a song. Is there a murder scene happening behind me? Should we call for backup? Go with the flow. I think you better just go with the flow. I don't know. What is happening behind me? It's crazy to understand without being able to see. All right, chat. That was good. What'd you think? Justin, you can put the external back on.
Oh no!
I just want to
you
see
know
what's
what?
happening.
Sure. Let's do it.
That's funny. Oh, that's funny. Oh, a little dance. Oh, was it just this the whole time?
It's not just this, but it's various fruits and veggies.
Oh no, I got a leak. Dr. Bob, that's a good one. That's pretty funny. Was it just a bunch of fruits that are dancing?
Yes.
So
Fun fact, I've shown this to my infant son many times.
That's an awful recipe. But that's pretty funny. I just wanted to test that and see how maybe we could do that every week to end ReaperLand. I figured it was a fun idea. Especially with chat chiming in. I think it's pretty fun when chat chimes in. I tell you what was the first one where people were saying murder, kill the killer or something like that?
Oh, I don't hear. I'll just show you from the beginning here. Hold on.
Dr. Bob, we might be able to do both, actually. Oh, was it just the strawberries? Oh.
Well, this is raspberries and then it's tomatoes. Yeah.
Is there music that goes along with this?
I think there technically is, but I did a screen cap. I didn't cap the actual
got it.
program. So.
That's a good one. Huzzah. Is there anybody online chat that we should raid? Any of the people that are doing the The whatchamacallit? Am I just on a black screen right now?
No.
Oh.
Oh.
I
hold
can't.
on
Oh,
a
you killed
second.
the external. That's why.
Whoops.
I
There you
see.
go.
Yeah. Samurai sword plus sliced fruit. I got the slicing of the fruit, so I was right with Fruit Ninja. Hey, I was pretty close with Fruit Ninja. Moonlight is up. Oh, so Moonlight is still up.
Oh, let's raid.
Moonlight minis. Yeah, she's sculpting some wood elves. I believe I saw her mood board.
Oh yeah.
Are they about to end, or they keep going? Oop. Yeah, it looks like they'll be gone for a while actually. Since she's doing the face and stuff right now, we can raid Christine. You know, ask her about Sophie. Ask her what she's gonna name the otter, if she wants to name the otter. So yeah, there you go. We'll raid Christine. I always like. Kyle does a lot of her turnarounds. I like her turnaround styles and things that Kyle does. I also like their editing that they do for all their marketing with the unpainted versions and the painted versions of the STLs. I think it's really nice. I like it. Shout out to Christine. She'll be teaching some stuff at ReaperCon as well. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. I hope you guys have a good week. Have a good weekend. Tell somebody you love them. Be safe out there. Have a good weekend. Bye.
And try to avoid the raining fruit
Yeah.
and veggies.
The dancing.
The
dancing leaks.
veggies. All right. See you
Bye.
guys.